G'day Roosters. What we want to do today is use our 2D AutoCAD still details and use them in Revit. So we're going to use Revit for the document control, so that's where all the sheets are, and the 3D model, the floor plans, and the overall building elevations. So here we have a 3D model of a carport, still framing, and a little, let's call it a garbage shed or garage shed thing at the end here. Now the plans, as you can see, are pretty straightforward. Stick framing, there's a schedule. But what we want to do different here is that we've got our AutoCAD has done the still detailing of the connection details. Now they're 1 to 10 scale. Now why have we done it in AutoCAD? 3 reasons. 1, AutoCAD is the best 2D detailing drafting package out there. You can do 2D detailing in Revit and it's reasonably okay with detail families, etc. But AutoCAD is way faster. In my opinion and experience, which is over 10 years with AutoCAD and Revit, it's 30% faster to do 2D drafting in AutoCAD. The second reason is you often have a large legacy file of AutoCAD details, so why redo them in Revit when you already have them in AutoCAD? Use what you have already. And the third reason is that AutoCAD is just far faster to copy and paste from other jobs and to get the stuff done quickly. Revit, you can bring in details from other jobs, but it's slow, it's clunky, it takes ages. AutoCAD way of copying and pasting is way faster. Now just a couple of things to note, that we have done a couple of tricks to make this work in Revit. So first of all, we have the layers. Now the layers have a line weight on them, and that line weight is recognized in Revit. It's also important to have layers because you can control things in Revit with those layers, like the line type and the color if you needed color, etc. Couple other things to bear in mind is that some objects don't come into Revit too well. I don't use polylines, that's actually a block there. And one other thing, I was just trying to think what it is. It's polylines don't, degree symbols and diameter symbols with %% C, % D don't work. So if you're used to this, degrees, that doesn't come into Revit, but there's a way around that. You just go to the character map, and you go to the font that you're using, you select that and copy that, and then you put that into Revit and it works. I'm not sure why that one went to a funny font, but let's leave that in there as a test anyway. So just bear that in mind. Now there's also a boundary around it. So this is drawn at 1 to 10, so that means the text is at 1 to 10, but the actual objects are at 1 to 1, so that is 100 wide, that is a 100 SHS. Now the border here is the view sheet in the drawing. Now just look at this here. I'll just get that dimension here. And it's 5290, remember that? Now we go back to AutoCAD Revit and we've got our sheet in here. Now it's borderless because that is the funky way to work now, just makes your drawings look great. You don't need to have borders around anymore with just PDF deliveries. So we have our title block here. Now I've just put those pink lines there temporarily to frame it so you know where it is, and see what this says there, 529. So the other one was 5290, so 10 times, so that's the scale. So what we need to do to bring in our detail from AutoCAD now is to create a drafting view. So I just duplicate a view that's already there. I find that the quickest way to create a drafting view. I'm going to give it the detail, still details 1. I'll just take that off the view and you just change that to 1 to 10. That's important. It won't come in right, but you can change it later anyway, even if you forget to do that. So I have my file, which was Steelwork Details 1. Change that to black and white. You might notice I draw a black screen in AutoCAD because I'm used to that way, and I've just left it like that. because I can use my legacy CAD library, which is significant. But with Revit, I changed to a white background because it's more BIM enabled. You can do a lot more BIM things in a white background, in my opinion, especially when you want to add a splash of color, which I highly recommend being a pastels. Pastels are in right now. So black and white millimeters, just do auto center to center, that's fine. So now we just check how it came in. The hidden line was picked up on that layer, that's excellent. Now you can see here what happens with that. So that one worked from the character map, but percent D or C, whatever I typed in, didn't work there. So let's just go here and erase that and save it by closing it. Now what Revit does is it doesn't give you a notification and that's updated. You do have to manually update those if you're in the drawing. Now if you close your project and open it again, it'll be updated. But if you need to manually update one, you just go to manage links there, CAD formats, and you go to steelwork details and go reload, and that's updated. Now everything's pretty good. That looks perfect actually. Line works are picked up and everything. Now we have to plop it on our sheet. So I'm in the project browser and I just grab still details and I plonk that on the sheet. Now, first of all, it's got a thing underneath it, detail title. So I'm going to change that to no title. That's good. Now this bit here is not particularly great, but it works okay. Is that you don't have snap points, so you just gotta, you do have it on that one, but not on the first one. So you just move it like that. Now see the boundary was in the pink lines. Now that's why I get rid of my pink lines. So I don't. That boundary stays in AutoCAD, so you know just draw inside that box and it shows up on that sheet. Now in here though, you still have a boundary because it's def point. So activate that view and do a VG for visibility, still work details, and turn off def points. And it just becomes borderless. So that's how I link AutoCAD details into Revit. There's only one other thing I need to show you is that on the call out details I have families that are just generic call outs, just 2D fake ones basically, that you can edit them as you please. So I know you lose some functionality there because Revit does really that cross-referencing well, but still details are a lot easier to handle in AutoCAD. And the other thing to remember as a consulting engineer too is that you might have some framing changes, some minor changes, or some coordination, which you have an extensive amount of as a consultant, and that can completely mess up your 2D still details, which can really slow down your delivering of your project. And you don't want that to happen. So sometimes we do need to fudge and pinch to deliver a good quality and a reasonable time.